So here we are, the second in the series of two. Last week's I called Translucence the first, and this is Translucence the final. And in the span of, I don't remember, like 30 seconds, a minute, I learned a lot from that first photo. And this is the same plant. It's not like a similar, like it's literally the same plant at the same location. I think about, I don't know, 12 inches down from the other one. It's the similar subject, like it's just a clump of 4 leaves. But so many things on this one, in my opinion, are improved over the original. And that's not that the original is bad. Like, I want to emphasize that. It's not like, oh, that first photo is terrible. No, it's a learning opportunity. And all photography, I wouldn't say should be, but I often view photography as a learning process. And if you take a shot that's not great, well, what can we learn from it so we can make the next one better? And that's what I try to do here. Like, I wasn't super satisfied with the last one or the initial one, so I thought, well, maybe I can improve on it. And I think I did. So first and most obvious is the color. Last week's image was pretty bland as far as color goes. There wasn't much going on. It was like kind of almost a black and white. Here, you've just got colors everywhere. You've got these deep, rich reds. You've got greens. You've got brown earth tones. You've got some blacks, some whites. There's just a lot more color. It's not like it's the full spectrum with the rainbow, but there's just more color. So it makes it, in my opinion, like from the jump, a lot more interesting. There's also more visual planes. So the subject is in the middle of the photo, but it's also in the middle of the planes in terms of foreground and background. Last week's it was almost like there was the subject and the background. Here we have foreground, subject, and background. On the right-hand side is that branch that that doesn't bisect. It cuts through the whole frame. That was definitely not there on the other one. The subject itself has that top leaf that's curling over. So there's a 3-dimensionality to the subject. And then you have the branch holding the subject, which recedes back into the left. You've got whatever the red leaf is way in the background. There's many slices. There's many planes and many layers to this photo. That was the other one had dimensionality, but not like this. And then I also did a better job of the exposure settings. I shot this at f11. And last week I even made a point to say, I could have done f8 or f11. And in the span of like the 1 minute between last week's shot and this week's shot, I learned that. As I was looking at the one in my camera last week, I thought, well, maybe I should use a smaller aperture. So I did, and it worked. And this is, to me, it's just a fun real life example of how you really can learn a lot from the photos you take. Side note, I want to point out something that you might not notice, but I do. On the right-hand side, there's like an odd depth of field effect going on. And it's almost like it makes it look a little deceiving. Originally, I said that the branch that goes through the frame was in the foreground. I'm not entirely sure it is. I think it might be in the background. But if you look, there's like a branch that very clearly is on the same focal plane. And it almost looks like it's coming out, like growing out of the first branch. It looks like a bad AI generation of it looks like this photo is like a bad AI made image, because AI often messes up what's in focus and what's not in focus, and it does weird things like that. That's not what's going on here. I actually think that the more I look at it, the more I actually think the subject is the first layer rather than multiple layers, like the foreground, the subject, and the background. But it's a little confusing. I'm not quite sure what's going on here. I think it might go leaf and then that little diagonal slice on the right. Like both of those are on the same focal plane. And then the very next thing in the background is the vertical branch, which is not the same as the other. Like it's a separate branch from that little side one, and then is the rest of the photo. I could be wrong about all that. But what I can promise you is like, this is an actual photo. I took this photo. It's not AI. It's just a little weird, like how everything lines up from like a 3-dimensional perspective. But anyway, I hope you like this image. I learned a lot from the process of taking both, and I hope you enjoyed them and maybe even learned something just watching or reading about them, or / not watching, but listening to me talk and reading about them here in a Weekly 50.